Welcome back to Fred Achando Analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Kindly subscribe to our channel if you are watching for the first time. President William Samoei Ruto today presided over the launch of affordable housing in Shauri Moyo in Nairobi. While there, the president announced that as the commander-in-chief of all the armed forces, they have sat down with the military council and he is going to incorporate the military in Nairobi. Basically, what was happening during Mejambadi.
Kwa sababu mimi ndio amiri jeshi mkuu, wale KDF ni Kenya Defence Force, kumaanisha wao ni wa Kenya pia, na wanajua umuhimu wa city ya Nairobi. Tayari nimeketi chini na wao na tumekubaliana ya kwamba tutabadilisha city ya Nairobi, ikiwemo Kamkunji, ikiwemo Eastleigh, ikiwemo hiyo Kiambu. So hiyo estate mimi nataka nimwambie bwana Hinga na bwana Njeru ambaye ni waziri wetu, muanze kupanga sasa mambo ya Kiambu.
I looked and listened to those statements and I was taken aback. Why? Our dear president is one person who opposed everything that was initiated and was being perpetuated by the former president Uhuru Kenyatta. And this was one of them. President Ruto back then was the deputy president, and he was campaigning claiming that Uhuru Kenyatta was there was militarization of our country. And then I was wondering if by incorporating and including the men and women in uniform into the civil service was tantamount to militarization of departments, then why the sudden change? This happened just a few hours after he had brought back Huduma number that they had claimed was being used to rig elections. So we are seeing the resurgence and reintroduction of very many projects, ideas, thoughts, and developments that William Ruto had opposed, basically because they were initiated by Uhuru Kenyatta. But then, don't you think this is going to pit him and the Nairobi governor Ruto-Sakaja? Because by including the military in the management of the Nairobi county, then it means he is indicting the character and the performance of Ruto-Sakaja. When they were campaigning, they had said that immediately they are sworn in, they would do away with the NMS, the Nairobi Metropolitan Services. And in fact, that is what Mbadi did. Mbadi simply handed over immediately. Ruto-Sakaja was sworn in. But now, William Ruto is bringing back the military, to help Sakaja manage Nairobi. Does it mean that Sakaja has failed? Because I know the first step is to bring them to help with security or something. But we all know that under the constitution, the KDF are supposed to protect Kenyans from external enemy, not the internal enemy, because with that we have our police. So I see a scenario where Ruto-Sakaja and William Ruto, this is going to be the beginning of very hot undertones, because Sakaja will not be happy. Sakaja believes that he is able to run this county. Now, the other thing that raises a lot of eyebrows is the fact that it is coming just a few days after Sakaja-Rigathi clash. Remember when Rigathi Gachagua was complaining that there are several undertakings that Sakaja wanted to do, but this was going to interfere with the Mount Kenya investors. And so William Ruto appeared to be supporting Sakaja then, but today it seems that Rigathi Gachagua is going to have the last laugh. If you look at the KWS. There was a military guy who Uhuru Kenyatta had appointed to help manage the KWS. William Ruto reversed that idea just a few months after taking oath of office. He was opposed to the idea of Uhuru Kenyatta including military men into the civil service. Even in the Kenya Meat Commission that Uhuru Kenyatta revived and placed under the management of the military, William Ruto reversed that and it was taken back to the Ministry of Agriculture under the leadership of Mithika Linturi. So we see a president who was lying to us when he was campaigning, because back then he demonized the ideas of Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga. But now it seems he's realizing, not even realizing, he's now becoming himself. Back then that was a campaign, but now he's giving us the true image of William Ruto. William Ruto was the deputy president and he was very privy to what was happening. If you look at the records of the Lieutenant General Mbadi, constructed several dispensaries in the slums to ease the burden of going to Mama Lucy or Kenyatta, and these are evidential. You can go and fact check. He also constructed several boreholes to cushion the pain of lack of clean water within Nairobi County. And William Ruto knows very well that these are things you cannot take away from the military, you cannot take away from General Mbadi. Even in the KRA, I understand that KRA was infiltrated by the military guys. Sources indicate that Uhuru Kenyatta had sort of quote-unquote slept with the job for some time, and several departments were infiltrated by corrupt cartels. And so, to remove them, he decided to bring in the military to help him, eradicate all these cartels. But William Ruto was opposed to it. Why do you think William Ruto is reversing some of these things? He's coming back with these ideologies because the military guys are now coming back. I know it's starting with Nairobi, but he's going to extend them to, several departments. Huduma number has also come back. Now, there's another laughable one that William Ruto is bringing back the BBI through the back door. He's calling, in fact, Raila Amolo Odinga was laughing off the mere fact that he's calling Musalia Mudavadi a chief minister, while in real sense, if he had gone by the BBI, Musalia Mudavadi should have the right name, the prime minister. And there are several things that they want to bring, but they do not want to accept to Kenyans that indeed BBI was a good thing. So now he's trying to bring them through the back door. He does not want to say that Huduma number was a good thing. It's now being brought to us through the back door. That task force that was placed to look into any improvements and recommendations on the CBC came back and said that the CBC will continue. Apparently, William Ruto had said that immediately he gets to power, this is very burdensome to parents, and he had promised that he was going to do away with it. So we have a president who was only campaigning. There is one lesson that I want Kenyans to understand, that politicians who are campaigning are not the very politicians who are in the power. When they are campaigning, they've got very sweet words to seduce us to vote for them. But when they are in power, once they've taken oath of office, they now deal with us with the reality on the ground. I just analyzed a while ago about the state of the economy. As we speak today, about 122 companies have been dissolved. William Ruto did not say why these companies are being dissolved, but the registrar the registrar of companies gave a notice that these companies will no longer operate. And I was just wondering, a president who had said that he was looking after the affairs of the hustler nation can now watch as more than 100 companies going down, and that means that there is going to be a lot of unemployment to the hustler nation. So my point here is, ladies and gentlemen, William Ruto is really not being serious. Or he's simply trying to tell those who voted for him indirectly that, look guys, I simply opposed some of these ideas, but they were good. Otherwise, why should he bring them now, yet he opposed them just a few months ago? We are seeing a very bad presidency, and I think that moving forward, we should have politicians who say the truth when they are campaigning, so that when you elect someone, you elect him based on what he's telling you. Because we cannot have a situation where a politician tells you A when he's campaigning and he implements B when he's, when he's in office. Are we yet to see more of the reverse of what Uhuru Kenyatta was doing? Are we yet to see William Ruto incorporating some of the William Ruto ideas? It seems to me that the reason why William Ruto is making a lot of noise that he does not want a handshake with Raila Amolo Odinga is because he knew what the manifesto of Raila Amolo Odinga contained. And so because Raila Odinga and William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta were working together, and in fact, Raila had indicated that he was going to perpetuate all that Uhuru was doing. So he knew very well that it was very, very easy. You simply pick the manifesto of Raila Amolo Odinga and implement it. And that's the reason why he's saying he does not want the handshake, because if anything, he can go find the manifesto and implement it. But I find it very laughable. I find it very funny that William Ruto thinks that Kenyans can forget very easily. Why can't he just come up and say, ladies and gentlemen, I want the BBI to start the deliberation, so that we go for it, we just implement it, because it included things like revenue allocation to the counties. Yesterday, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua held a meeting with the KRA and the National Treasury and the representatives of the governors to find a formula of increasing the allocation to the counties. They didn't agree. The meeting went for over 6 hours, but they did not agree. Yet this was also part of the BBI to try and solve the puzzle around the revenue allocation. So there are several things, ladies and gentlemen, that you can look at. I could talk about borrowing, that William Ruto said he would not borrow. Yet, as we speak today, he has even borrowed more than what Uhuru Kenyatta did. In fact, while campaigning, he said that this was going to be burdensome to Kenyans and that we could not operate with loans. William Ruto said that he was going to cut the budget by, 300 billion? But you saw the members of parliament going for some retreats, and William Ruto was cornered and they released that money. So all these things that William Ruto was saying were just meant to hoodwink Kenyans. Isn't it a lesson for us, ladies and gentlemen? And in fact, moving forward, don't be surprised. I believe that there are several more other things that William Ruto is copying from Uhuru Kenyatta. In fact, I don't even want to say it is copying. They worked together, even though he denied it. He was saying that in the second term, he was, pushed to the periphery and he was watching things from far. But he was inside the government. He was taking a salary as a deputy president. As a matter of fact, he knew that everything that they were doing together were just good, but he was denying it to please his supporters. Now tuko hapo, reality ndio hiyo, and as the letter zote. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? That is my take.